Chicago, 1987, West Side, Austin area. This is Queen Teresa, a mother, a boss, a ride or die woman who turned pain into power after the streets took her husband. She wasn't looking for the throne, but when survival called, baby, she answered. Love, loyalty, betrayal, money, and family, all wrapped up into one empire. This ain't just a street story. It's about a woman who refused to fold. Welcome, you guys, to Queen Teresa. 1987, Chicago's West Side, where brick apartments lean like tired shoulders and the night breeze carry whispers of everything a woman like Teresa was trying to outrun. Every morning at 4:45, before the streetlights blinked out, Teresa was getting out of bed, putting on her steel-toed boots, leaving behind her kids and her tiny two-flat that she fought every day to keep. She walked the same cracked sidewalks to Brock's Candy Factory on Cicero and Kings, one of the fruit places left that still paid on time, offered good benefits, and still felt like a lifeline when the world tried to drown her. Inside the factory, the air always smelled like melted caramel and hot sugar. Sweetness thick enough to fool outsiders into believing it was a happy place. But Teresa knew better. Happiness wasn't on the assembly line. Survival was. And she survived beautifully. At 5'7", with caramel skin that glowed under the plant's harsh fluorescent lights, Teresa was the kind of gorgeous that made co-workers stop mid-conversation. She was a baddie before that term, okay? Brown bedroom eyes, framed with long, naturally curly eyelashes, long wavy hair cascading down her back, every bit inherited from a Creole grandmother who swore that beauty was a blessing and a burden. And for Teresa, it had been both, especially after Terry. Terry T-Bone Williams, the kind of man that Chicago will never forget, a West Side legend who made money fast and enemies faster. When they was together, TNT, they was West Side ghetto royalty. But royalty didn't last long on the streets, not on the West Side, not in 1987. The night Terry was murdered by rival drug dealers, it changed Teresa's whole soul. The glamorous fast life, gone. Men who lived by the gun, she wouldn't deal with another. All she wanted now was something steady, simple, and safe. Here come Ben. 37, dark skin, muscles built from real work, not a gym membership. A construction worker with callous hands and quiet eyes. He loved Teresa with a slow patience she wasn't even used to. But she desperately needed it. He never raised his voice, never stayed out all night, never gave her a reason to even worry about the streets trying to swallow him up like they did Terry. Her daughters appreciated being too. Tammy was 19, Trishelle 18, Tina 16, and Lil Terry was 15. Four beautiful reflections of their parents, strong-willed, sharp-tongued, and loyal to their mama. They adored her and feared her at the same time. Teresa wasn't soft, but she loved them harder than life ever loved her. Still, even with Ben, even with the girls, even with that factory job, Teresa sometimes felt the ache of a woman who has survived too much, too young, and too soon. And on some nights, the loneliness won. The Rose nightclub on Madison and Menard. A Saturday night on the west side was a whole different Chicago. Okay? Music vibrating through the pavement. Women dipped in perfume. Men dipped in danger. And the Rose, with that burgundy lit nightclub sign that every hustler, every baller, every street parent went to be seen. Teresa felt like she didn't belong there anymore. She had sworn that life out. But the Rose was the most popping club on the west side, so that's where she went. And sometimes a woman wanted to feel alive again, wanted to remember more than just them tag bones, the routine, and them double shifts. So her girls insisted that she come on out. Ben told her, baby, enjoy yourself. I'll see you tomorrow. He went on home. So she put on that black fitted dress she kept tucked in the back of her closet, the one that hugged her hips like they missed them, and walked in the Rose for the first time in years. So, the Rose full of regulars. So when she walked in, heads turned instantly. Man, they whispering, oh man, that's Terry girl. Ain't that Teresa? Man, that look like Teresa. And on the far side of the room, under the shadow of a red neon sign, a stranger noticed her too. Juanito Calderon, a man whose presence alone said power, danger, and money wrapped in a beautifully fitted tailored suit. A cartel emissary from Mexico sent to Chicago to build something big, something the city wasn't even ready for. Now, Juan, he wasn't easily moved. He seemed beautiful. He's own beautiful. But Teresa, her aura stopped him mid-sip. Her sadness intrigued him. Her strength intrigued him even more. He ain't know her story yet, but he felt something sharp pull. He felt a sharp pull towards her. Something he couldn't explain, something he couldn't name, but he couldn't ignore either. So he approached her slowly, looking, paying attention. Buenos noches, he said, voice smooth, accent soft but undeniable. You look like a woman who doesn't belong in this place. Teresa looked. What make you think I don't belong? He said, because the room shifted when you walked in. Places like this don't deserve women who can move worlds. Now, that was the kind of line that she normally would roll her eyes at. But coming from Juan, she sat up a little bit. But something in his voice, steady, dark, dangerous, made her inhale a little deeper. Ooh, okay. They talked, they danced, they drank. And for the first time since Terry's death, Teresa felt a spark she couldn't explain. Ben didn't make her feel unsafe. And Juan didn't make her feel safe. But Lord, something about him made her feel alive. Too alive, maybe. As the night was coming to an end, Juan leaned in, his lips near her ear, breath warm enough to raise goosebumps on her arms. Teresa, he whispered, I want to show you something important. I think you can help me, help us make real money in this city. She leaned back. What kind of money? Unknown caller. That kind of smile should have won any woman that crossed one face, right? The kind that your husband once controlled. Teresa froze, heartbeat stilled. She had to catch her breath. Juan's eyes glimmered dark, intent, and full of secrets. Chicago needs a queen, and I think you ready to take that throne. Before she could answer no, before she could answer, two men in leather jackets appeared behind Juan, nodding subtly. Something was happening. Something big. Something she had no business being near. Yeah, Juan, he was steady, and he was watching her, waiting, inviting her into a world she swore she would never touch again. And Teresa, strong, smart, beautiful Teresa, felt the floor trembling beneath her as she realized this man wasn't asking her to love him. He was asking her to choose a side. And if she chose wrong, Chicago would eat her alive. Mm, mm, mm. And that's just the beginning of Queen Teresa's story. Power, loyalty, family, and choices that change everything. If you felt that, if you rocking with this journey, make sure you stay connected. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Culture Connects, so you don't miss out on anything, especially this next chapter. Okay? Because, see, we just getting started. Just getting started. Welcome to the world of Queen Teresa. Until next time.